Alright, hey guys, Christian from Shasta Films back here again today with another video, and this time we're actually doing our first movie review, and I'm going to be doing it on Split as our first movie ever, so I thought it'd be kind of fun. But before we get into that, be sure to check all links in the description below for all of our social media and all of our short films and whatnot. And also, if you guys would like to see more content, consider hitting subscribe and like. And I also want to say that before we get into this video will be split, pun intended, into a less detailed non-spoiler section and then the more detailed spoiler-containing section. So when we get to the spoiler section, you guys might want to think about clicking away. But anyways, let's go and get started. So, of course, we've all seen the trailer, or if you haven't, the basic idea of the movie is that a man has 23 personalities and a 24th is about to come to light. And in the meantime, he kidnaps 3 girls. So, you might also know that this movie was made by M. Night Shyamalan, who is not necessarily known for making the best movies in Hollywood. So, yeah, surprisingly, this one was actually kind of the exception. So, it had a coherent block structure that was easy to follow and even consisted of a few different stories going at once. And, of course, James McAvoy did an extraordinary performance. I loved how good he did at his role. I mean, the girls themselves, the 3 girls that you see in there, were actually kind of your typical average teenage girls that are in horror movies. You know, you see all the time that get spooked but never do the right thing, and you're always sitting there questioning their methods. So one of them, I guess, is the exception. And along with that, this movie is also kind of more of a horror movie than most other horror movies you see today, because most of them, for modern horror movies, don't really have that horror aspect. They just kind of throw a bunch of random jump scares at you. Split is more of a make your skin crawl type horror film, and that's what I love about it. You just kind of are always on edge of your seat. You don't ever actually get like completely freaked out, you know, because there's not any like serious jump scares or anything, but it is definitely a good little thriller movie that I enjoyed. So overall, if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would highly recommend it, even if it was made by Shyamalan Ding Dong. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the spoiler-containing section. So if you guys don't want to have anything of this spoiled movie for you, you might want to click away now. Alright, so now in the spoiler section of this movie, I'm going to get into a few more specific details and examples of this movie to explain what I like and what I didn't like. So let's go ahead and get started off with what I didn't like about the movie. So the idea of suddenly becoming stronger just because a new personality comes to light doesn't make much sense to me. Because, you know, they explained, if they had explained this detail as the body has a maximum strength, but certain personalities limit the body even further than that maximum, would make sense. So, I mean, because let's be honest, muscles don't grow in seconds, just like people that turn into zombies in seconds. That's right, looking at you, World War Z. Another problem I had was that the police were able to see the videos Kevin and his personalities had made, so they had an ample amount of images they could have eventually placed on every TV screen in the country and easily tracked him down, but instead they just kind of left him as like this mystery figure that no one would know what to look for. And the last real issue I had with this movie was that Casey, the main girl, had a huge opportunity to run at the beginning of the movie when Kevin just kind of sat there for a minute after he gassed the 2 other girls. She had an easy opportunity to run and start screaming. She was in a very public place. So the odds of her actually running away were a lot greater than I guess she thought it could have been. So, I don't know, that kind of upset me a little bit, just the fact that, you know, the one good survivor could have made it out before it even happened. So, I don't know. Just kind of a weird thing. Alright, so now let's move on to the things I actually did like about this movie. So, I mentioned very, very scarcely in the last section that this storyline had a couple of different plots going on at once, and that is completely true. And, you know, there was an internal and an external conflict based around Kevin. Of course, the internal conflict was all these personalities fighting for control of the light of Kevin's body, or basically just fighting over control of, you know, using Kevin's body. And, you know, Hedwig, the child character, he was the one who emerged most of the time and was usually able to get his way to the light the easiest, which I thought was really cool. It was actually a pretty cool concept. But then, of course, on top of that, the external conflict was Kevin and all these other personalities trying to hold these 3 girls in the same building so that they can use them for a sacrifice for the beast, which, you know, comes around at the end of the movie and is really freaking insane, by the way. And also, like I mentioned in this previous section, the storytelling was actually pretty good, and M. Night Shyamalan actually managed to build suspense through multiple plot lines that would keep the audience guessing. Basically, whenever the personalities would go to Dr. Fletcher, the audience would learn something new about them that could usually be applied to the scenario that took place in the house next with the girls. So, you know, you'd find out a little detail about one personality or something or the other, and then boom, next scene, you immediately see that going on between the girls and one of the personalities in Kevin's body. So I thought that was really cool, actually, that they had, both of these conflicts going on at the same time. It's actually quite a similar plot structure to some of, like, old-fashioned plays, like Shakespeare even had similar plot structures to this. I could break it down and show you guys exactly what I'm talking about, but that would take a little bit too much time, so we'll just kind of keep on going here. And then at the end of the movie, the reference to Unbreakable in that last scene was actually really kind of cool when Dunn, the guy who had the jacket that said Dunn on it, talks about Mr. Glass, which was Samuel L. Jackson's character in Unbreakable. And granted, I didn't actually see the movie Unbreakable, but I thought that little reference was actually really cool and a fun way to end the movie by joining together two universes and making that little mention at the end. I always look out for those in movies, trying to catch those little references. I think they're really cool to find, and I don't know, I just really enjoy them. So, anyways, that's all I have for this movie review. I hope you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe for more content, and also check all the links in the description. But once again, guys, that's all I got for you today. Peace out.